Alright, let's see if this works. This is your league commissioner with the Week 14 recap. The first round of the playoffs is over, and so is the first bowl game of 2015. That's right, the Sacco Bowl. Eli Manning pulled Ginger Lives Don't Matter within 3 points of Le'Veon on the IR, but Eric was too far behind. This matchup was what you'd expect from a Sacco Bowl. The combined scores of both teams was the lowest in the league this week. However, congratulations to Nick on avoiding the Sacco title once again, as he hands Eric his 8th consecutive loss, as well as that giant dildo trophy. This week is the semifinals, and we have our second bowl game of the season. The Consolation Bowl, where the points don't matter. That's right, the Consolation Bowl is like winning the NFC East. You still suck. That's right, the Consolation Bowl is like the Dodgers winning the National League West every year. This week's been great, listening to LA Sports Radio and hearing everyone call in and bitch about how the Dodgers aren't doing anything in the offseason. There's still way too much time, to start jumping ship, but hey, these are LA fans we're talking about. Anyway, the Consolation Bowl will be between Joey and Mike. Will Ty, the touchdown guy, actually got a touchdown last night, but also Joey beat Timmy pretty easily this week. The only player on Calvin Klein to break 6 points was Blake Bortles. Joey had a solid week and gets a chance to prove that he has the best team that didn't make playoffs. Suck on my Duggernuts had a huge lead over Don't Hate the Slayer, even though his receivers combined for a measly 1.5 points. Kyle's team, pretty much all played late games. That's why there was the big lead. And despite the fact that 2 of his guys had goose eggs, he made a comeback. Odell Beckham and Jarvis Landry made it a 1-point matchup. But none of this really even matters. All we want to know about is the real playoff bracket. The matchup between Curtis and Luke was not very high scoring. If Joey or Mike or Kyle or Nick or Eric had made playoffs, they could have beat Luke this week. He just bet on the wrong Saints running back, and his team just underperformed at the absolute wrong time. Curtis gets the win in round 1, but he has a very formidable opponent in round 2. He does have good Week 15 matchups: Aaron Rodgers at Oakland, Jonathan Stewart at Giants, assuming he plays, Charles Sims at St. Louis. He may just want to keep David Johnson on his bench. It might be best if he didn't even set his lineup this week. In Week 14, Will's only bad matchups were Cam Newton, who ended up dominating the Falcons, and Calvin Johnson, who had 1 catch for 16 yards. But the rest of his team went off. Todd Gurley ran all over Detroit, and Sammy Watkins killed it against the Eagles defense, who is the worst team in the NFL at defending wide receivers. Just Gurley things easily got the win over Set Up the Colemans. Kyle's team struggled, but his bench did great. Brian Hoyer had more concussions than completions. McFadden and Forte had 11 points each, but that was it. Kyle was blown out in round 1, so he and Luke will compete for 5th place. In Week 15, Will's matchups are even better than last week. Cam Newton goes against the Giants, and with Eddie Lacy and Tim Hightower just sitting there on his bench, Will has a lot of choices to make this week. Are you sure you want to play Todd Gurley against Tampa Bay's run defense? Tim Hightower's going against Detroit. Please overthink this. Stress yourself out and put up a low score. Will's opponent in the semifinals, Adam, definitely benefited from that first round bye because he had horrible matchups in Week 14. His entire team was in the red. If he had to play, he might be eliminated from the playoffs already. Next week, his matchups are a little bit better. Matt Stafford goes against New Orleans, Jeremy Hill versus the Niners, but without Andy Dalton, can you really expect the Bengals offense to be productive? Antonio Brown goes up against the Broncos. You'd have to be crazy to bench him, though, right? Or maybe that is a smart move. It's the Broncos' defense. They're the best in the league at defending wide receivers. He's got Kamar Aiken. Kamar Aiken has a third-string quarterback throwing to him, but he's going against Kansas City's defense, and they're second to last at defending wide receivers. So what are you going to do, Adam? These decisions can just be so hard sometimes. But you have to make them, and you can't fuck up, because if you fuck up now, it's all over. So put a lot of pressure on yourself and make bad decisions. Last but not least is my team. I have great matchups the next 2 weeks. I've spent the last 6 weeks making sure that I'd be able to win when it matters most. Russell Wilson's on fire and going against Cleveland. Hopkins against the Colts. Gronkowski against anyone. DeAndre Hopkins lymphoma against Captain America. It's time for the semifinals.